Okay, so it's going to be a 5th degree binomial. Number... Okay, 25 is essentially combined like terms. Who can get combined? Yeah, the P3s. So a 4 plus 3, okay, is 7P3. So who can get eliminated?
C and D.
C and D. Okay, and then we can combine our P's together. So 1P minus 8. 1 minus 8.
7.
Negative 7. Okay, and so we can't eliminate anything. And then 8 plus 3.
11.
11. So it's going to be A. Okay, 27. What did I tell you to do for the difference ones?
Change the second parentheses sign. Okay.
All the signs in the second parentheses. Okay, so this is going to be a negative, negative, negative. Okay, and now we just combine just like we just did. Okay, what's the highest exponent? 4. Okay, so we got a 7 minus 1. 7 minus 1. 6B4. So what can I eliminate? C. Okay, what's the next highest exponent? 3. So I can do 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1
1.
is 1. So I'm going to have 1V3. So those check out. D does not work. Okay, and then I can combine the V2. So negative 5 minus 3. Negative 5 minus 3. Negative 8 V2. And there's no one else to combine, so it's got to be B. So were you here yesterday? Okay, get your paper. Okay, 29. You're just, distributing. So 8 times 1 is 8, and then there's 2 A's, so it's got to be C. Okay, 31. You're going to say 2 times 4 is 8, M2. Okay, can we eliminate anybody? No, not yet. Okay, 2 times 3 is going to be 6M. 7 times negative 4 is negative 28M. And then we're going to get a negative 21. Okay, which one does it have to be? Without even continuing, it's got to be what? C. Okay, it's got to be C. Okay, that one has a negative 21 as well as B, but you're going to see like when you combine the middle ones that would come out to be that number. Okay, 33 is where you got to factor each piece. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to kind of use the answers to help you out. Okay, so normally we'd say which number is smaller, 12 or 18? 12, right? And then we would make a list of 12 numbers that divide into 12, starting with the biggest. Okay, well 12 goes into 12. Does 12 divide into 18? No. Okay, does 11 go into 12? No. 10? 9? 8, 7, 6. 6 goes into 12. Does 6 go into 18? Yeah, so you'd have to run through all the numbers. Or, a lot of you guys are good at doing the distributing already. Okay, you can go like this to each one and figure out which one matches up perfectly to that one. So that's kind of like using the answers to see like if it works with the problem, if that makes any sense. Okay, so what by that I mean, okay, and I'm just going to do the first one, but we already know that it's a 6, so we know that's not the top one, but 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, from this guy to this guy, how many x's are there? There are 3. Okay, 2 times 3 is going to be 6, and then there's 1x. Does this match that? Does that match our original answer that we got? Or the problem that they gave us? No. Okay, so we know that it's not that one. You could go through and do that with all of those. However, we've already established that it's going to be a 6. Okay? And so then you can take the least amount of x's out. So it's got to be either B or D. B or D. It is B. Okay. I know that it's not D because if I would do 6 times 12, I don't even know what that is, but it's going to be bigger than 12. Okay. Well, 6 times 2 is 12. Okay. And so we want them to match back up to our actual answer. Okay, 35. 35. The two numbers that we use have to multiply to 80 and add to 18. They need to multiply to 80 and add to 18. So does 2 times 4 multiply to 80?
No.
No. So we know it's not this one. 6 times 10? No. 10 times 8? Yeah, 10 times 8. Yeah. Okay, so now it's a matter of I need a negative 18. How can I get a negative 18?
Plus minus.
A plus minus? Well, that's not even an option. Okay, it's either going to be the minus and then a plus or a minus minus. I need a negative 18.
Minus plus.
It's going to be minus minus. Okay, now you can just check it on your calculator. You can say minus 10 minus 8. Okay, or what was the other one? Minus 10 plus 8. Okay, it would say equals 18 if it worked out. Okay, 37. These are the harder factoring ones. Again, if you suck at them, you can do the distributing. Okay, like this, and then combine. It should add back up to the number that they gave you. However, we know that it's going to look like this. 1x and a 3x. Okay. So what can you eliminate? What can we eliminate?
D.
We can definitely eliminate D. What else? B. Okay. And then obviously we know based upon our numbers that it's going to be 2 and 2. Okay. And so it's just a matter of checking the outer, checking the inner from there. Okay. Okay, if you would do the outer 2x on negative 2 times x is going to be a negative 2x, and then this is going to give you a negative 6x. Okay, would a negative 2 and a negative 6 give me a positive 4? Negative 2 and a negative 6, is that equal positive 4? No, it does not. So it's got to be this one. Okay. Okay, 39. How could you eliminate some straight from the gate? How could we eliminate some straight from the gate?
The negatives.
Is this gross or decay? It's decay. What does decay look like?
It's going down.
Okay, so which one could you eliminate? B and C are growth, okay? B and C are growth, so we can eliminate those. Okay, so really understand which one looks like growth, which one looks like decay. Because now if you had to guess, okay, at least you have a 50-50 shot of guessing, okay? If you have to guess at this point, you have a 50-50 shot, okay? So understand the difference of what it looks like to be growth, what does it look like to be decay. Okay, now, we are going to have to type these in. Okay, so we do this XY chart, and we say negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, so you guys got to get typing, hit your fraction button. You're going to say 1/3 times, parenthesis, 1/7, close parenthesis, and then to the power of, and then be negative 2. Okay, what is that?
16.3.
16.3?
Yeah.
Okay. Negative 1. Okay, and I would honestly, you can go through them all, but I would stop each time and look and see, because we only have 2 left, right? because we crossed off B and C. Okay, so we know that on my -2 line, it should be at 16.3. Okay, so go to the -2 and look up, is it somewhere around 16.3? That means that this blue line should be really on this, like, okay, so that one looks good. What about D? Okay, yeah, so 16.3 is going to be somewhere up here. Does that match up? No, so we know that it's D. So you do even need to finish doing the rest? No, okay. Now, if neither of those could check out, then obviously keep typing. Okay, each time you do something, okay, look at the answer options. Each time. Okay, each time you do a little bit of math, look at the answer options. Okay, 41. 41. Okay, where does our pencil start? On 0, 0. Does this graph open up or down? It opens up. So, what could you eliminate?
A, and C.
Literally everything, except for the answer. However, if you were, okay, what does this -3 do? What does that -3 do? We're going to go down 3. Okay, what about the inside? To the right too. Okay, so if we had to, okay, but we already know that this is the only graph that opens upwards. Okay. Okay, 43. Does that graph open up or down? Okay, open up or down?
Down.
It opens down. See the negative right by the 2 at the very front? That lets you know that it opens down. Okay? So what can you eliminate? We can eliminate B
A, C.
and C. Okay, now at this point you can either guess or try to do the math for it. Okay? So we're gonna do a little bit of math. Maybe something will eliminate, maybe not. Okay, so remember we say negative B over 2A. What is my B value? It is 12. What's my A? What's my A value? -2. Okay, type that in your calculator. What number do you get? Three. Okay, so I know that part of my vertex should fall on the x equals 3 line. Okay, so here is where x equals -3. Okay, and this one is on x equals 3. Okay, so which one is it going to be? It's got to be D. Okay, the other one's on -3, and that's not going to work out. Okay, solve each equation with the quadratic formula. There's no good way to do it other than to do it, okay? This would be one that I'm like, if you have no idea or you're running out of time, this would be one that I would skip, okay? Just because they're kind of lengthy. So we've got negative, my B, -8 plus or minus B squared -4, my A times my C, all over 2A. Okay, for the -8, it's going to become a +8, plus or minus, what about on the bottom? What are you going to get for the bottom part? A 10. Square root, and this is where you guys come in, start typing all this without the house. What did you guys get? 404?
Wait, 484.
484? You got 484 too? Okay, so 484. Okay, and now you're gonna hit your radical button or your house button, say 484 with the house. What does that give you? 22. Okay, and so now we start with the first one. You're gonna hit your fraction button, say 8 plus 22 over 10. Okay, 8 plus 22 over 10, and then stop and look at your answers. Well, what number do you get? 3? Yes? Okay, and so what's that gotta be? It's gotta be A. We're almost done. The rest go by pretty fast. Okay, 10. Is that a positive, negative, or none? That is a none. Okay, so that's going to be A. Okay, find the mode, median, and mean for each data set. Which one is the easiest to find that could help you eliminate answers the fastest? The mode. Why is the mode the easiest? Yeah, you don't got to rearrange or nothing. You just look at it. Okay, so what is the mode of this data set?
47.
47? Okay, so what can you eliminate?
A, B, and C.
A, B, and C. Okay, did you even have to do the rest of the work? No. Okay, so don't waste your time and do it. Okay, find the mode first. What do you feel like is the next easiest? If the two of them said mode,
Average.
you think the average? You think the median?
You don't have to rearrange anything.
I like the mean just because like I can do it on my calculator without having to write it out. But I was just curious what you guys thought. But 51. Look at that one. What is the mode? What number occurs the most? 71 and 74. Okay, what can we eliminate?
B, C, D.
All of them? A, C. Yeah. Easy peasy. Okay, 53. Determine if it's geometric. If it is, find the common ratio. Okay, so you're going to say negative 64 divided by negative 16. Negative 64 divided by negative 16. 4. Okay, negative 16 divided by negative 4. 4 and negative 4 divided by negative 1 is 4. Okay, you do need to check all three on those ones, okay? 55. Okay, I would start out with finding the common ratio, okay? Find the common ratio. What is it? 375 divided by 75. It is 5. Okay, so now at this point, go through. What can you eliminate? We know that the common ratio is 5, so what can you eliminate? We can eliminate B, I agree. C?
No.
We cannot, and we can eliminate D. Okay, and so at this point, start with the next number. Okay, so 375 times 5. 375 times 5. What do you get? 1875, so it's got to be C. Okay, 57. This is that one where you got to use that formula. Okay, you may be able to sometimes eliminate it with the common ratio, maybe not, because I know that 58, if you look at it, there's 2 4s, so you're going to have to type it in. Okay, whereas this one, you don't necessarily have to. Okay, so what is the common ratio? Negative 3. Okay, so it's got to be A. But like on this one, you're going to have to tuck it in. So remember, it's the first number times the ratio n minus 1. Okay, and so they're asking you for 10. So it would be negative 1 times negative 3, 10 minus 1. Okay, for that. But because you will kind of have to do that on 58 because there are 2 common ratios there. Okay, 59 through 62 today on the hats one you guys are going to do. Okay, so your packet should be done after